Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Push to Talk podcast. We're recording this just a couple of days before Christmas here. How are you, man?
Dude, I'm doing well. It is getting close to Christmas,
Yeah,
and there's so much going on, man.
it's fucking
I'm
insane.
I'm I'm glad we're taking a second. We got an hour or so here to sit down
Yeah,
and yeah, reflect on things a little bit, talk about what's coming up with first person shooter games, and it's gonna be a ton of fun, man. I look forward to this. It's almost like, and I know you're the same. It's almost like it's so busy doing this show and stopping to record. It's almost just like a take a breath and just talk
yep,
about games and hang out for a little
yep.
bit.
I mean, I just got off of a stream driving truck and
Mm,
it's been a crazy week, but we ran errands earlier today and I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna go stream. Then I realized it was pretty much right at the same time we were meant to record the podcast, so
yeah.
that's on me.
Yeah, I did the same thing. Me and my son were out running errands, and then I came home and I saw you were live trucking, and it was a mixture. It was a mixture of emotions, man. Because on one hand, I'm like, wait, were we supposed to record? And then on the
Right.
other hand, I'm like, hell yeah, brother, we're trucking. So like
Right.
I kind of went through it right there, but
Hell yeah.
all
Gu
good, man. The
guys,
road's always calling.
it always is, and you know what? You gotta let the Bessie purr down the roads, 100 miles an hour, take all the fines, don't even care.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, Hoss.
Guys, if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you guys leave a like, leave a comment down below with your thoughts. And if you're listening to this on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcast, make sure you guys leave us a rating. We're actually seeing a lot of people listen to us on Apple Podcasts. That's our biggest like digital platform, I guess, which is pretty cool.
Huh.
So
I guess I'll stop talking trash on Apple's products. Sorry.
I have an
I'll
iPhone. Give us 5 stars. Hell yeah. Guys, we're an FPS centric podcast, and we didn't want to start another episode right before the holidays without obviously mentioning the big news, which is that Vince Zampella, head of Battlefield, creator and director of some of the greatest FPSs of all time, has sadly passed away. He was involved in a car crash 48 hours ago at the time of recording this. Is there
Yeah.
anything you wanted to say about that?
Yeah, man, just it sucks. It's kind of a sobering reminder on, kind of how fragile life is just a little bit. So
Yep.
especially with the holiday season, man, coming up, spend some time with your family, unplug
Yep.
a little bit,
100%.
hang out with them. That's what it's for. And also just like that's a big loss, man. Especially if you're listening to this podcast, the chances are nearly 100% that
Yep.
you've had some memories playing some games
Yep.
developed and influenced by this man. If you're here with us, you've played a Vince Zampella game, like
Yep.
almost 100%. Just, COD, Respawn, the Titanfall, the Apex, even
Yep.
some of the Star Wars games, just like everything. And we also probably could give him a fair amount of credit for Battlefield's resurgence.
Yeah.
So
Um,
dude,
I
wild.
know for
Sucks.
me personally, like I wouldn't be here doing content if it wasn't for Medal of Honor Allied Assault. That was my dad's favorite game. That's when I started getting into FPS, was watching him play. So yeah, it's crazy the trickle
So
down. Major loss.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's huge.
So
I
yeah.
don't know what else to say other than, man, it sucks, and definitely thoughts and prayers to the family.
Yep.
Everyone affected. That's rough this time of year, like you
Yep.
mentioned that. But also just let it be a reminder for us that are still here to just make sure we remember what's important,
Yep.
hanging out with family, taking a little time off the internet, and just being together.
I can't fucking wait to unplug. 100%.
Yeah, it's nice. I kind
Yeah.
of have been because I've been super busy with stuff, but
Yeah.
that's what I've been doing the last couple weeks. I had a friend come down, and we've actually been hunting ducks and geese, hunting
I
waterfowl.
saw that. Yeah, you guys got a pretty
Yeah.
good haul there. You posted in
Mhm.
Discord. Very cool.
Yeah, I got Christmas goose.
Hell
So
yeah.
I went out and got Christmas dinner, was acquired. The mission was successful.
That's awesome.
And yeah, I plugged a few days and went hunting and just outside in nature's. That's where I'm in. That's where I'm in my element.
Yeah.
Outside chasing stuff. So
Touching grass.
cool.
Hell yeah. All right, guys. With that, I think we jump into the meta breakdown. This is about to be a spicy one. All right, guys. So on the last episode, we were talking about our potential, expectations and wants and desires and how excited we were for PUBG Black Budget and their upcoming test. Well, the last 2 weeks have passed. The last 2 weekends, they've held a test. I played the first weekend, the first day,
You sure did.
and that was probably about all I could stomach from that test. How about you, Crash?
Yeah, we played together, and
Yeah.
before I get too far,
Sure.
I don't think anyone's gonna listen to me. Okay, if you're gonna sit here and wear a cowboy hat,
You gotta.
I feel really inferior.
God damn.
So when we do some debates here in
Yeah.
the meta breakdown segment. So I got to
Yep.
be on your level
Fair enough.
if anyone's gonna take me seriously.
Bro, the hard edge
Uh,
curves on that one are fucking
dude,
sexy.
I
Though.
had to get
Look
this
at that.
I had to get this thing custom made.
Yeah.
It's after the Haas hat in Bonanza.
Ooh.
I'm not even kidding.
Sheesh.
And yeah, I have a watermelon head. So
I
had to get this like special ordered in.
This one, when we went out to Calgary, they had like an actual like place where they like shaped them and stuff. So they measured out and got everything fitted and
that's what I had to do too.
steamed.
You turned me
nice,
on. You turned me on to the mammoth headwear though. I got some of those
dude,
hats.
Love them,
dude. So great.
They're incredible. I like 2026. I really want them to sponsor a video because like they're the go-to. They're fucking goated.
Or they could throw down on a podcast because we both have melon heads.
Dude, I would rock them every fucking day. And that's
I bought 2 of them.
So I got 4 stacked here right now, and I want to buy more. They got all the US ones there too. I want to pick them up as well. Like, and this isn't even sponsored.
Nope. If you have a big head, like that's it. That's 100%. The way. Anyway. Black budget.
Black budget. Talk about it.
Fry and I actually played it together, and it would be really funny too if you really cared to go back and watch that VOD because of how the dynamic changed through the stream, dude. When we started playing that, man, I wanted to like it, and I was a little bit pissed because everybody's like, "Oh, this is." Why are they saying PUBG? This is PUBG low budget. This is PUBG no budget. Like everybody's talking shit. I'm like, guys. You give a game a chance, man. Everybody just wants to hate everything. That was me at the start of the stream.
For sure.
And then like 2 hours into it, I'm like, yeah, this is trash. Dude. I hate it so much.
You know, okay. I don't want to talk over you. You have your thoughts written down. I know my thoughts. I don't think there's going to be much debate. You wanted to like it. What was the turning point for you to where you went from giving it a chance to you realize this isn't where it needs to be?
Yeah, and I'm trying to put all these things in perspective because it is an alpha test, and a lot of the issues we had with the game can be chalked up to that. And
for sure,
that's just how development goes, and they're going to need time to work on it and get through it, and fix those things, and they should be fixed by launch. That being said, along those same lines of thought, I was like a little surprised how buggy it was since it's been several years they've worked on it with the size of studio of PUBG. It's crazy that it was still in the rough state that it was. But for me, man, it was the gameplay, dude. Like, I don't know why you would stray so far from PUBG. You can love or hate PUBG's gunplay. It is unique. A lot of people like it and and figured it out and how to use it and stuff like that. But the gunplay was just unenjoyable. And even to add to that, I had some other creators who played it a lot longer than I did, gave it a chance, and got higher level to where they could deck out their guns more and use attachments, which on the surface, that's great, right? Make attachments sought after and worth it. Like they're important, and they're a part of progression in the game to get there. You can feel the attachments change how things work, but you can't make it so shitty that it's not fun to get there.
Yeah.
Like I was really having fun in the game until I had to fight somebody.
Yep.
And I felt like I was just going, I felt like I was just going into a gunfight. Well, I guess I'll die.
Yep.
Like that's just how I felt because the gun was just all over the place. The recoil made no sense. There was even when I would die quickly, I just felt like people were getting lucky spray headshots because no one could control the recoil. The gunfights just felt like coin flips, and yeah, it didn't make fun. If you had the gameplay loop, because I did have one good raid. I went in solo. I went to a big POI. And it was late game when all the anomalies started happening. When it clouded up, there was lightning. There was anomaly like orb that did damage that popped up that forced everybody outside. So during a gunfight, it made us move, and we were still fighting. And I had some good loot and stuff that I'd found too that I knew I needed. And then I had to go and run and get out in a wormhole thing. And like, so that's where you have to like, and the lore is wild, but you have to start a wormhole and then it lets people know. And then eventually it forms a shield, but I had people pushing me while I was trying to extract. And I had a quintessential awesome extraction raid. The thing that you're looking for, but in 4 hours, I had one of them. So if they could figure out how to make that happen more often, And yeah, I'm not ready to write it off. Probably because that raid planted a seed in me of like this
Right.
could be really cool. Like I felt for a second what they were going after. And yeah, they just need to work on a lot of things. And I'm hopeful that they do. I am hopeful because in their creator Discord, they were booking one-on-one appointments with creators to get feedback and stuff. So I'm hoping some of the higher end creators that get those one-on-one appointments probably played it and are gonna tell them, and I hope they're listening. What'd you think?
Yeah, I think, well, I mean, you were there, because we were trying to link up at the very beginning when I had dropped in, and I got into that very first firefight, very first raid. It was a base AK, I think I had, and I was just like, "Oh, this feels like shit." Like, just right off rip, and I get it, you know, you wanna do the sought after attachments, and that changes the gunplay up. If you're playing a base level gun and it's jumping around like you've never controlled a gun before in your fucking life, and, like, I've seen people complain about recoil in games where you're supposed to be a tier 1 operator, but you have like loosey goose arms. I've never seen it as bad as it is in Black Budget. And we got into a few firefights where it just, you either die instantly or you can literally see that they're just everybody spraying wildly and then one of you dies.
Yeah.
And it was just so like, because the setting is really cool. I thought when we were going through those environments and we found when I first set off that alarm in that one area and it's like pottery and like arts and crafts, I was like, this is an interesting POI. It's not like, you know, a mind blowing thing, but I felt like walking through the buildings, looking at all the props and the 3D art and the assets. I thought it looked great. And then, you know, to get the weather effects coming in, I really like the environments, but the
Yeah.
gunplay and the gameplay doesn't match as detail oriented and like I would say a lot more grounded. The gunplay would just felt, I don't even know. I can't even call it arcadey. It just felt like shit, you
Yeah,
know?
because like yeah, because you hit it on the recoil being bad, but even beyond that, like just aiming was bad.
Yeah.
Like if you
Yeah.
moved, your gun was just it's
Yep.
like you just had little limp noodly arms and you couldn't point a gun at anything. It was crazy. It just didn't
Yes.
feel good. Anytime you can't make your character do what you want
Yep.
to in a video game, it just feels crappy. But some of those things you touched on is why I'm not ready to completely write it off.
I
I think
agree.
it can be saved because the environment was cool, the map was cool,
Yep.
like every room was fleshed out with furniture and art
Yeah.
and cool stuff. Excuse me. And the lore that they're going after really is kind of cool. You're on an island that had some testing, some crazy paranormal testing on it back in like the World War II years. And now people are just finding it out that there's a time loop on it and you exfil in. But beyond the lore going into the gameplay mechanics, what's cool is that this is a new thing in extraction shooters is the zone closes.
Right.
So the longer you stay, you're kind of pressing your luck,
Yep.
right? Because the area is going to get smaller. There's going to be more anomalies popping up. And the longer you stay, it's like a high risk, high reward thing. You can go in, get some little surface loot, get your stuff done, get out on one of the boats quickly. But once the boats are gone, the boat extracts on the beaches around the island are gone.
Yeah.
Then you're forced to push in. The longer you wait, the better tier stuff you're going to get, but the more dangerous it is. So I like the loop of every raid and how the
Yeah.
longer you stay, the darker and more dangerous that you get.
Yep.
So there's some cool stuff there, but golly, man, like fix the guns, dude. It's a
Yeah.
shooter.
Yeah,
Like,
the moment to moment gameplay I thought was terrible, but like when you actually think about the gameplay loop, I wasn't sold on the battle royale like circle closing with an extraction shooter element. I actually like that better than the raid timer, just like ending the match, right?
yeah,
I don't know, it forces movement and like you said, you get into those moments where you can see some potential with how combat plays out with the different anomalies. I unfortunately didn't get a chance to see that. I just saw the lights staring up, you know, it wasn't a great experience. And of course you had
yeah.
the comments of people saying like, oh, you're just fucking ass, you're just dog shit. It's like,
Skill issue. Yep.
play the game, get one of these keys that they were giving out and you'll feel the same way. And I do feel like a lot of people feel the same way, but like you said, those are, I'm not going to say easy fixes, but I'd rather it be that than like stability problems, server issues that constantly happen every single fucking time we get into a test. I don't know when it's launching, right? I think
That's a huge question.
if it launches in the next 6 months or so, chalk it up, boys. Fucking wrap it up because they're not going to be able to fix some of this shit in a 6 month window. But it's probably going to go to early access, right? I think is that the plan for Black Budget?
I'm assuming. I didn't see what it said on the Steam page. The other thing I did see that's kind of interesting in the future of this game, I put the link there to the tweet.
Yeah.
There are some data mine leaks that there's going to be other game modes in it,
Yeah.
like a death match, a team death match, and there's also a last man standing mode. So it sounds like it's going to have a BR almost into it, which I don't know. That's kind of interesting.
I
I guess
think
maybe that's because we were talking about why they put the PUBG name on it. I guess if
right.
you put a BR mode in it, that might make more sense. But
Fair enough. Okay, how do you feel about having this many game modes?
I don't think it needs to. I
Yeah.
like the idea of it being an extraction shooter and them fleshing that out because I think there's some meat on those bones.
Yeah.
Having the map be really big and have it's got a high variety of like biomes and stuff. There's jungle areas, there's desert stuff, there's aquatic areas,
Yeah.
and it's a real the map was like one of the best parts. I thought, and I think they did a fairly decent job with UE5,
Yep.
with getting it to run well. It wasn't as pretty as Arc Raiders,
Mm-mm.
but it ran fine, and there was nothing. You know, it wasn't like super taxing on a machine. So I think they did a good job with UE5. It also gives me hope for the PUBG. I don't know if they're going to call it PUBG 2.0 or when PUBG gets its Unreal 5 update.
Right.
It gives me hope that that's going to be running pretty good. That's a little insight you can get from this game more than likely,
Yep.
because I bet it'll kind of run the same. But yeah, I would prefer it to be an extraction shooter and them to figure it out because I think with the circle closing, with the anomalies, and I think there's a wide variety of in-game events you could do. You could kind of go the hunt showdown route where you could get some bounties on some bigger bosses and add more boss fights and stuff like that. Make it
Yep.
not just about looting and killing and stuff. Oh, I thought one thing that we kind of missed talking about was I thought the hideout was kind of sick.
Yep. I didn't
Um,
really get very far in it, but yeah, very cool.
I di I didn't either, but I like the idea of, like, when you're out of it, it's kinda like how I I might not hate if Gray Zone went this way. When instead of just going back and standing in a base, you go back to a personal hideout,
Yeah.
in Black Budget, and there were, I think, there were at least 20 different modules that you could upgrade to your hideout. You can actually dig the tunnel to expand it. You
Yep.
can add workbenches, you can add crafting stations, you can add places to make armor. You can add like a weight training room to make your character
Yep.
stronger, which I think would make the game feel a lot better too. So maybe some of that stuff later on would make it feel better that you could
Yeah.
actually have enough muscle to hold up an assault rifle. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm trying to be open
Well,
minded with
here's
it,
what I will
but
say. Firsthand experience. I understand what it means to get people in the game and onboard them properly, and not have a really slow grind start. If people are hopping in and that is the first experience, is that you're sitting there wobble arm trying to hold a gun, nobody's gonna fucking play past that
yeah,
anyway.
yeah, you're gonna lose a lot of people.
But there is a lot of potential. They have a lot of features that might not necessarily be fully fleshed out and polished, but I think if they go to early access, with better gunplay, I think they got some potential for sure.
Yep, I think if they go to early access with better gunplay and then a clearly defined plan
Yeah.
for post launch content, I think the player number drop in Battlefield 6 is showing us how important
Yeah.
having a big slate of post launch content is to keep people's attention. And I think this game is going to be pretty similar. I think the progression itself is going to keep people around initially, but I think you're going to have a lot of events. You're going to have some stuff happen on the map. You're going to
Yep.
have some sought after cosmetics you can grind for or something like that to do. So
Yep.
if they fix the gunplay and they have a lot of stuff planned for it, I would give it another try for sure.
I think the big counterpoint to that is Battlefield did great for season 1 in terms of the amount of content. The problem is the content wasn't that great, right? So not
I
only do you have
yeah
to have a lot, it needs to be good, and I
yeah
don't
because
think
I
the
think
maps in Battlefield hit for people to stick around, right?
yeah that's the vibe I definitely get from the sentiment online, and I think we're really feeling the fact that in this phase of Battlefield in season one, this third phase is a reskin snow map.
Yep.
Like there's no actual new map,
Yep.
and I think you're really feeling like the content fatigue set in with
Oh
Battlefield.
yeah.
So yeah, hopefully we hear about season two of Battlefield soon. Maybe by the next episode would be nice.
I think so.
Talk about dice.
Yeah, you're
Um,
right. No shit. I think
but
we're gonna hear
yeah,
it shortly after Christmas. They're probably taking some time off here, and then they're gonna hit the
yeah,
marketing cycle again.
I
So
think that makes sense. And then one last thing I will add to this if we're ready to
yeah,
move on though, it makes me excited for this genre. And
yeah,
you know, we're kind of wrapping up the year and next year, looking ahead at what's coming. There's some new ones of this type of game mode coming out with, you know, Beautiful Light being worked on, the Project Spectrum being made by the people who made Delta Force, the Team
Yep.
Jade. So, and I think in that one, I know in Beautiful Light you can, and I think in Spectrum or Gray State, one of the two. I get it mixed up. Tencent Studios making paranormal shooters,
Right.
but one of them you can play as the monsters too.
Yeah.
Beautiful Light you can, and I think Spectrum
I
you
think
can too.
Spectrum
They've
you can,
talked
yep.
about, and then that other one, that Gray State game looks insane,
Yeah.
and those look more around the hunt showdown where you have a big boss and you take him out and get the bounty out.
Yeah.
And I'm excited for the genre for next year to see what it does. This game kind of fed into that a little bit.
Yeah, I think based on everything I'm seeing, and I won't be able to judge it until I get my hands on, I think PUBG Black Budget will be a miss for me if the other ones can do things in a better way than what we've already seen with the alpha here. But we won't know. But
Can I ask you one final question on
yeah,
it?
of course.
I want your thoughts. So
Sure.
we've seen with a lot of games that first impressions are huge.
Yep.
Do you think most people agree with us that it was rough and they're never going to touch it again? Do you think this playtest hurt them?
No, I don't. And the reason why is because it was a limited playtest. I don't think there's enough people talking about the game for it to impact the future, right? Once they really start putting the PUBG marketing machine behind it and when it's ready to go, it's going to be like a whole new wave of people at this point. And yeah, you're going to have I played this 6 months ago and it's ass. If it's, I don't even know. Do we know if it's going to be a free to play title?
That's a great question too. I
No
don't
idea.
know.
It really depends. Again, if they launch anytime within the next 6 months, I think they're fucked. So don't do that. And hopefully there'll be like, I mean, look at what the sentiment, we're going to talk about this in the patch notes a little bit. The sentiment around Marathon is that people are willing to give it a shot now. They've had enough time to sit on it, and maybe they made enough changes since the last time they played it. And so I think we're going to see the same thing here.
Yep. Let's see Black Budget like a year from now, holiday 2026.
Exactly.
Give him 11, 12 months and we'll see him next year.
Yep, exactly. All right. All right, with that, guys, we're going to move on to the next segment of the show, the patch notes.
All right, guys, welcome to the patch notes. This is where we talk about some more straightforward news stories. And one of them that has come back around is Marathon. We've talked about games that had play tests that didn't go so hot. This one's kind of fitting in that moniker because it was definitely a play test. It was one of the play tests of all time. And yeah, they had the whole controversy with the art stolen thing and all that stuff. So it was just a rough showing for Marathon, but it's hard to write off because it's a Bungie shooter, right? Like a really storied studio with a lot of stuff behind them, a big portfolio of awesome games. So what's going on with Marathon, Fry?
So we finally heard back about what's going to be happening going into 2026. This was posted December 15th. March 2026 launch window. We don't have a specific date on that yet. With a $40 price point, basically, I mean, from what I'm seeing across the internet, everybody is now comparing it and putting it up against the massively successful multiplayer game of the year, Arc Raiders. So
never played
it. yeah, we all know. So yeah, basically, Bungie, additional details on the Marathon package are kind of hazy as of right now, but PlayStation Studio, they're basically telling buyers to expect access to all gameplay updates, including maps, runners, shells, events as the years progress. So they're basically just trying to tell us it's coming out Q1 this year. We don't have a date, and we're definitely looking to support this long term. Apparently, a bunch of the changes, they've reworked, according to them, they've reworked everything, and we should be seeing plans for seasonal content, roadmaps, and details when you'll be able to try the game as they get closer to launch. So they've also kind of implied that we're going to be seeing a test here, most likely at this point, probably in February or late January. And yeah, they dropped they call it a vid doc, including a bunch of new gameplay showing how they're calling it a dark sci-fi world. I still think the game looks very much the same as what we saw, but it's weird. They're calling it a dark, gritty, and grounded world. And they've also added prox chat, which is something that a lot of people were asking for right after playing Arc Raiders. So they have prox chat, a solo queue option, a rook shell with a limited loadout, and what they're calling increased fidelity and updated UI. So they're basically just trying to say, like, we took a lot of your guys' feedback and we've been spending the last like 6 or 7 months, because that test was in April of this year. So for the last, several months, they've just been working on, trying to implement the feedback. And hey, we delayed it. We're working on it. And they said more updates are going to be arriving in the coming months. So how do you
Yeah.
feel? How do you feel about Marathon as a whole? Because like we started this podcast kind of after that whole debacle. Where are
Yeah,
you at with
man.
it?
That's another one. Like, I mean, maybe even more severe of a fall off in
Oh,
my like thoughts and opinions of a game. I was
yeah,
so hyped for Marathon when it was announced because
yeah.
I actually remember playing the original one a little bit.
Okay.
My mom actually had a Mac PC, and I got it. I got a like a disc of Marathon. I just remember putting in the CD-ROM and
Wow.
actually messing around on the old one a little bit. So to see that come back was really cool. And then I saw that they were doing like this super dark and gritty, crazy like sci-fi world that looked cool. And then I played the game, and man, it felt like it was really rough. I just didn't have any crazy cool extraction moments. So I'm
No.
hoping they did a lot of stuff there. I thought how they stole that art was really crappy too. Was a bad showing. So hopefully
Yep.
they've gone through and fixed a lot of that stuff. I know they seem to have settled up with that and got
Yep.
squared away with that artist and stuff like that. So we can put that behind them a little bit. But this is going to be it's going to take a lot to get me into this and want to play it a bunch. And maybe they've done it. It is a like I said, Bungie. Like they have a ton of resources behind them.
Yeah.
Um, but man, I just don't know. I'm up for it to try it out again. They've done enough and given enough time that it's definitely worth another look.
Yeah.
It's just man, it's in a crowded space right now, right? Like they had a rough first showing that they have to overcome, and then
Yep.
man, you're coming out against some big games that are doing well right now. So
Yep. Well,
I don't know.
I
I worry about it.
I think to relate back to what we were just saying about Black Budget, I don't think had a big enough showing to have people have those opinions, right? Whereas Marathon, all eyes were on Bungie,
It was a big deal.
right?
Yep.
So like when you say they have to overcome it, it's a huge overcoming. And this is where I think first impressions are going to hurt them a lot. I think there's going to be a lot of people going into this looking for the worst because the internet, I mean, clowned the shit out of them, found the artwork. So there's going to be people scraping all of the artwork, trying to find anything they can, right?
Yep.
And I'm not. It is what it is. That's just the internet. That's what I guess you sign up for. But I don't know. I think like for me personally, I feel like if I'm looking at two $40 extraction shooters, I think, take the third person out of it. I love third person. So Arc Raiders is kind of like my go-to. But I just think the vibe of Marathon, the visual aesthetic, the style, it's kind of cool, but it's also it just didn't hit for me. I don't know.
Yeah. I think what's going to keep me from probably playing it, if I'm just being honest with myself and everyone here, it's the hero shooter thing, man. If
Yep.
they have those skins with the abilities, with the like the cloaking thing that makes you invisible and
Yep.
stuff like that, and I just hate like hero shooter abilities in a game where your life matters this much
Yes.
because there's going to be times where you die to somebody who pops some crazy shield that they just pulled out of their ass, or the guy that can go invisible and sneak up on you and kill you.
Yep.
And it's like, dude, you're playing an extraction shooter where you could literally be trying to get a quest done that you've been trying for, days or weeks, depending on how much time you get to play, and you die to that without a
Yeah.
chance. Like that's gonna make me uninstall. So
Yep.
that's probably what did it. Cause I had originally I was on fire for Delta Force extraction game, man. I was
Right.
like, I thought it felt good. It was some of the first time I'd experienced that quality of life stuff that I've come to love in ABI. But I just started dying to all this stuff with the special abilities and things like that. And man, I'm over the specialists and the
Yep.
hero shooter things, man. I just don't enjoy that just because of how if you have a high stakes game and something can just be so one sided and
Yep.
there's nothing you can do about it. So
Yep.
I don't think it's going to be the art style. I don't think it's going to be like the mechanics and things like that that turn me off. I honestly think the specialists are probably going to break it for me.
No, that's fair. Okay, let me ask you this before we move on. Arc Raiders, $40, Marathon, $40, gun to head. Where are you going?
What man? This is I feel backed into a corner because you're gonna use this forever. Everybody's gonna use this. That
No, no, no.
Crash likes third person now.
No, no,
No,
no.
it'd be Arc Raiders, man. Yeah,
Okay,
I
so
I think so.
interesting, and that's simply because of the specialist. Then, like you
Yeah, and I think it's
that's
important to
interesting.
say I haven't seen what kind of,
True.
launch content is with Marathon yet. This is
Right.
just, going on the limited information I have right now about
Yeah.
Marathon. Our creators is just other than the third person, everything is pretty cool, man. The
Right.
world building's awesome. The AI is they're not going to top the AI in
No.
it. There's just so much content in there. They put stuff out like crazy with updates and in-game events already that yeah, our creators is crushing it, man. Embark's doing it. So
Yeah. Okay.
I would have to go that route. And I bet based on the player numbers, a lot of people are probably would make that decision. Marathon's going to launch in a pretty rough time
Yep.
market wise, in my opinion.
And for me, as a fan of Arc Raiders, I'm curious to see what Embark's response is to this. If there's going to be a new update or a season or a map coming out around that March window, just to
Yeah.
make sure that they can keep that market share and that dominance. It's gonna be fun to watch for sure.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. Regardless, that's why I love doing these podcasts.
Yeah.
Is I love the industry side of things and just
Yep.
watching this stuff unfold and seeing how the community reacts, and then coming on here and talking about it with you guys is
Yep.
that's where it's at. So,
Hell yeah.
regardless, even if I don't play it, gonna watch it. I'll watch a bunch of streams, keep an eye on it, and kind of see where the cards fall
For
with
sure.
how many people playing it and how successful it is.
Yeah. It'll be an interesting one. All right. I'm gonna jump into this one. You've covered War Dogs on your channel in the past, correct? The new
I
Bulkhead
have,
game
yeah,
coming out? Yeah.
yeah. My YouTube channel started out as a Battlefield centric channel, and
Yeah.
then to see Bulkhead, make a similar type of game when 2042 came out, it's like, man, yeah. So I covered some of the leak screenshots and stuff like that.
Yeah. So, for those who don't know, Bulkhead was this is a mess, and I'm gonna try to weed through how many different companies have had their hands in this cookie jar. But Bulkhead were the original developers of Battalion 1944. They were initially kickstarted, and then Bulkhead released not Warfare, Battalion 1944, to not a lot of fanfare. A lot of people didn't really enjoy it. Um, and now they're currently working on a new IP that is called War Dogs, and it's set for a 2026 early access launch. And the only things we really know about it is it's a combined arms battlefield style shooter, helicopters, infantry, ground vehicles. It's set to launch in 2026 on PC before coming to other platforms, and it's set to be published by Team 17. Now, they were initially acquired by Splash Damage, which is a publishing and development outfit. They were acquired by them in 2022, which itself was owned by Tencent, though has since been sold to a private equity. There's so many fucking companies trading these guys around. But so what it is now is SMG, which is a new company. It's called Super Media Group. They were formed from former Team 17 owners or higher ups in Team 17. They came in, they acquired a 20% stake in Super Media Group, which then went to Tencent and Splash Damage and asked and bought Bulkhead from them alongside the War Dogs IP. So right now we have it feels like a bidding war between multiple studios for this War Dogs game that we still really don't know much about. Um, that's kind of like
Yeah.
the initial. That's what I gather from this. The announcement was really confusing because I knew Bulkhead was acquired by Splash Damage in 2022, but I didn't realize Splash Damage was actually owned by Tencent. They separate
Everything's owned by Tencent.
everything's owned by Tencent. Yeah, if you're making games now, you're bought by Tencent. But what I didn't realize is this year Splash Damage actually split from Tencent, and then with that, War Dogs went to a whole different fucking conglomerate company. Outside of that, from the sounds of it, the studio seems like they're very happy to be split from Splash Damage and Tencent. I'm looking forward to hearing more about the game if they're looking for a 2026 launch. I'm hoping we hear something soon. Have you been following any of their like blogs and like the hiring stuff that they've been doing at all?
Not too much. I've just been keeping an eye out for like bits and pieces of War Dog stuff and some of the teasers when they're talking about the studio and what they're up to.
Yeah.
I think they'll purposefully put in some like over the shoulder shots of devs play tested it and stuff.
Yeah.
So I've dissected those and looked at it. And man, I think if you're a Battlefield 6 player, or if you're kind of an older generation Battlefield fan and you're not feeling Battlefield 6 right now because it just doesn't capture the essence of the old ones, whether that's, the vehicles aren't hitting right for you, they're not doing combined arms right, the maps are feeling small and claustrophobic to you, this might be something to pay attention to.
Yeah.
I could really see in them I could really see them doing it like an old school take on this combined arms genre,
Yeah.
and it kind of maybe being a game for the older Battlefield fans.
Yeah. And what we do know is that instead of, two teams, it's actually three, correct? That are all
Yeah.
fighting over points, which could be an interesting change of pace. I want to know more. I like this is like it's one of my most anticipated games, but I think the only reason is because we just don't know enough about it. So I don't want to let my imagination run wild with what's all in there. I'm kind of
Yeah.
waiting for more concrete information.
Yeah, that's a really interesting take and super smart to delineate that. It's like there's different reasons you can be excited about a game.
Yeah.
And this one is we're excited because of the mystery. We're not
Yeah.
excited because like we've seen it and it's badass. It's like,
Right.
we're excited to see what they have been cooking over there. And yeah, man, I'm ready for it. I hope to be able to play test it when they do some play tests.
Yeah.
I'd love to give it a go and see what's going on.
I was
Um,
telling you on the stream there. I'm trying my best to get an interview with Joe Brammer. If we can bring him onto the podcast or however he wants to do that, I think that would be really fucking cool. So
Yeah.
I got the bug in his ear, and he just has to make sure that he can talk about certain things without potentially being sued into oblivion, because there's a lot
Yeah,
of stuff
yeah,
that I
man.
want to pick his brain about. So
If there's that much going on behind the scenes with acquisition
Yeah,
and who owns
fuck.
who, there's got to be stuff that's on
Yeah.
and off limits to talk
yeah,
about. So
exactly.
yeah, get those sorted out.
So
Although
this
it
is
would be good for good content, be part of a massive lawsuit. That'd be great for our podcast,
Fuck yeah, dude. Any publicity is good publicity, right? That's what they say.
I guess.
But
Yeah.
no, so I think moving into 2026, as much as we're looking at, beautiful lights and the project spectrums, this is definitely like the game on my radar. And we're definitely going to be chatting more about anything that they drop here in the future.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool
Yeah.
that we're talking about it now because it is kind of a
Yeah.
answering the question of what you're excited for next year as we wrap up this year.
yeah,
So
exactly.
that's definitely towards the top of the list.
Hell yeah. All right. All right, guys, this is usually part of the show where we accept questions, comments, or any sort of concerns from our patrons. This week, because it's Christmas, things are busy, and we just wanted to take our time to, thank you guys for supporting the channel, supporting the podcast, and, coming up with questions and stuff every episode for us. And we just, wanted to take a moment to hope that you guys have a great Christmas, wish you guys well, and we'll get back to comments, questions, and everything in the new year.
All right, guys, welcome into the Sleeper Hits. If you've been here before, you guys know what it is. We're talking about stuff you may have not heard about, some kind of shorter, bite-sized news stories. And man, one of the craziest things we saw that I did not expect over the last couple of weeks is Unrecord got them a check, a little bag. Yeah.
Them China dollars.
Speaking of the devil,
Yeah.
Tencent is back already. We talked about him 5 minutes ago. and
Yeah.
here we are again.
Well,
So yeah, what do you make of that, man?
we did we not talk about like body cam stuff on the last episode as
Yeah,
well?
we did. I
Yeah.
mean, call us Nostradamus.
I tell you what. Yeah. So basically, Unrecord put a tweet out. This was a few days after we put our podcast out. They basically said, today we're proud to announce that we finally have the budget to make Unrecord and build the best game possible. Now, I assumed the game was already in development, but they said in
Yeah.
2023, they were just two bedroom programmers. The game was just 6 months old when we saw the initial trailer for it. And it's crazy that a build that was 6 months old kind of started, so many different games and kind of opened up a new
Yeah.
genre.
I don't want to know what they're doing in their bedroom. Get that out of here.
But it's crazy. So they've gone from 2023 to now. They're 10 developers. They're still hiring. Tencent is investing in Unrecord. I don't think we have a number, but they said many thanks to our investors who enjoyed playing the game and placed their trust in us. They're fully focused on production, and now that they have funding, they're going to finally share updates in 2026 that reflect the true vision. For me, I don't know how far in development that is. Two guys, they've been working on it for 2 or 3 years. I don't know where they are.
Yeah.
So it's tough for me to kind of get a gauge on being excited, or is this now, is this a 3-year out game at this point? you know?
It might be. It doesn't seem like it's going to be quick. Um, I think loot boxes are going to look incredible in GoPro
Oh,
footage. You know,
fuck
I think
yeah,
the
dude.
10-cent loot boxes are going to look clean when you're
Yep.
opening them in a body cam game. Just kidding, but probably not.
No, you're
The other thing that it tells me though is at least they have enough of a playable something that someone would write them a check, right? Like they've had to have been able to show something, or will people, or would something like, would someone like 10 Cent speculate on that based on the success of a trailer? Or do you think they had like a showable demo to play a little bit?
So they probably had a showable demo. It was probably a small slice of a level. It was probably something similar to a level that you could play in body cam. But what happened, in my opinion, is they went and they said, "Here is the virality of what we've done. This is
Yeah.
what we've sparked. Look at these other games," and now they can actually look and go, "These games are copycats made by a couple of people with no budgets, and look at the sales," right? I guarantee you they directly related to body cam sales. And I think body cam sold pretty fucking well. So now they can go and look at our wish list numbers compared to those sales. They have data now, which is actually kind
Yeah.
of interesting. You know, we talk about like the copycats and how body cam kind of came out, and I don't want to say ripped them off, but you kind of ripped them off a little bit, you know, and I think
It was
everybody
definitely inspired by.
yeah, I would say so. And but the cool thing about Unrecord is maybe that patience did actually pay off a little bit, because if you can actually collect the data, you can collect the interest, you know, and they can probably look around at other games and go, if we throw, you know, a marketing machine behind this, if we can get some funding to actually take this to a higher level, maybe introduce, because I think Unrecord was going to be like a single player campaign. I guarantee you, if Tencent is coming into it, we're going to see multiplayer now that we can look at body cam. Like I think it's kind of the opposite. Like body cam ripped off Unrecord, but I think they're now using that as real world data to then get a bigger fucking deal from somebody like Tencent. That's what I think
Yeah, that's
happened.
kind of crazy to think about, that some of their, you know, on the surface, you would see that as like direct competition
Yeah.
might have helped them out and
Yep.
given them a selling point to take their wares to 10 cent. That's
Yep.
kind of interesting
Yep.
about how that could have went.
Yep.
So yeah, it's going to
That's what I
be
think happened.
another one to look ahead to. See what's
Yeah.
coming out with Undercord stuff.
Pretty interesting. And honestly, I will say, I think the tide's turning from Tencent as well, which is crazy, because I think if this was 2 years ago, these guys would have been roasted to oblivion for taking China money, right? Tencent
Yeah.
is the boogeyman, but you look underneath the tweet and it's nothing but support.
Yeah.
I think people are starting to come around and say, like, look, get your money and deliver us good fucking experiences. And you know, I think more people are worried less about the politics of everything,
Yeah. It seems like it.
which is a good thing, you know.
Yeah.
Not
Cause when I,
go ahead. No, go ahead.
I'm so sorry.
No.
I didn't mean to interrupt you. When I hear 10 cent, I get that knee jerk reaction. Oh,
Mhm.
China, you know, like what's it going to have? And I
For
made
sure.
the loot box comment or whatever.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I think more people are, like you said, sliding to the other end of the spectrum and saying, man, I'm glad they got paid and we're going to get a game. Cause in the end, that's what anyone
Yep.
cares about, is if it's good, we'll play it.
100%.
Like
You know, there's a whole conversation around the whole like AI stuff, and I just dropped a video
Yeah.
exclusive on the Patreon to talk about that kind of stuff. And I think at the end of the day, we're going to see with this and with that as well, nobody gives a shit. Is the game good or is it fucking not? If there's AI built into it or whatever, is it good? If it's good, people will play it, you know?
Yeah. I think that's the biggest question at the end of the day, and always
Yeah.
will be.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now I will say, very cool. Congrats to them. This is a really cool one that you brought to the show here today, because this, like, I would have never known about this if it wasn't for this podcast, which I think is pretty cool. Let
Yeah,
the
it's
people
kind
know
of
what this
wild.
is. Yeah.
Yeah, so this actually started from a Patreon party chat question,
Yeah.
asking about what our favorite game would be, and I mentioned that I would love just a straight up 5v5 CS:GO type game, but you know, first person mechanics. And I mean, CS:GO is first person, but I mean the traditional ADS mechanics where you aim down sights all the time.
Yeah.
That a lot of us are used to, and just a no frills, no BS. Me versus you. I'm trying to defuse a bomb. You're trying to protect it. One life mode stuff. And someone reached out to me over on Discord from Attack Dog Studios and claimed that they're making that game. He actually said he heard what I said on this podcast and said that their game that they're working on kind of fits that bill. They want a 5v5 PvP experience, and he said they stripped out the modern gimmicks to focus on raw skill. He said no hero abilities, no kill streaks, just pure tactics and gunplay. They said that they've taken inspiration from classic Rainbow Six and the SWAT series. And I asked them to elaborate a little bit. It sounds like it is going to be like an attack, defend, bomb type game. I hope I read that right. That's what it sounds like to me. But yeah, it just sounds like a bunch of people that are kind of our age that want to get back to that kind of game.
Yeah.
And yeah, on the surface, it sounds really cool. We just don't know enough about it to really make any kind of opinion on it. If you check it out on Steam, method of entry over on Steam, you can see kind of a trailer and stuff. And I could really go either way on it. It looks cool, but it also looks a little bit indie, which
Yep.
I would expect. And so it's just going to come down to, um, how the maps are, how the gunplay is, the player controller, how it performs and stuff like that. But so far, sounds awesome because that's what I'm after. I want a 5v5, just straight up me against you,
Yeah.
and see how it shakes out with some of those intense moments you can get from that game mode. Be really cool. So method of entry is now officially on the radar. Keep an eye
Yeah.
on it.
So I'm just looking at their store page here. It is a 5v5 bomb defusal mode. Defenders strategically choose their bomb site, forcing attackers to adapt and select their entry points accordingly. So it actually reminds me a lot of kind of what old Rainbow Six Siege was going to be when they first
Yeah.
announced it, which I think is pretty cool. Obviously, I'm going to be watching out for this. It's going to be an early access title. You know, we've seen a lot of these come and go. And it's looking indie. I'm just going to say that, which is not a bad thing. It's just going to be, how are you going to overcome the challenges that come with being incredibly indie
Yeah.
like this, right? You're going to have to get funding from somewhere. It looks like they don't have any sort of publishing outfit. It's all going to be coming from early access. How do you keep people engaged through early access and not just let the game die instantly? There's a lot of questions. And so maybe we should reach out to them and see if we can't bring them onto the show, because I want to grill them. I want to see, like, because clearly
Yeah.
they're watching and they know the pitfalls, right? Or at least you'd think.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. It's going to come down to those inherent challenges of making a multiplayer shooter. One of the big reasons I feel like with Resurgent, you guys started out making
100%.
a story type game is because you have servers to worry about, you have netcode to worry about, like, having bullets, count on clients and servers and duplicating that to all the clients. It's just, I can't imagine like how hard it is to make multiplayer like netcode and stuff like that and have it work well. And you have to have enough people playing to keep servers populated, so there's not long queue times. And there's just a whole host of issues if you really think about what all the moving parts behind a multiplayer shooter that this studio is going to have to deal with. So, yeah, I hope they're up to the challenge, because, like I mentioned on the last episode, man, that's the kind of game I'm after. So
Yeah.
it's got a what do you say? It's got like a long road to go or a big hill to climb or whatever. But if they can make it, it could be pretty cool.
Yeah, I think for me, it's going to be, it really, for me, it depends what happens at launch. If this game launches in a poor state, even though it's early access, it doesn't matter. Most people aren't going to give a game like this a second shot, unlike a marathon or something like that, because it's just, like I said, we've seen this happen so many different times that most gamers are just kind of over another broken fucking indie shooter, right? But for me, I like the concept. They reached out to you. They seem confident enough, and it looks like they can at least put a game together, but there's so much more to multiplayer. Like I don't envy them at all, man, for what they're about to go through. But I'm curious to see where it goes for sure.
Yeah, but I think this was a perfect game to talk about on Sleeper Hits, because a lot of people haven't heard about it, and
for sure.
Yeah, now we can all kind of pay attention and see where it goes, one way or the other.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, dude.
And then,
I'm excited about this last one.
Yeah, so we talked about it coming to Marathon. It looks like Arena Breakout Infinite is finally getting proximity chat at some point in the near future. Now, you're the ABI guy.
Yeah.
What do you? Yeah, you want the prox chat? Okay.
Oh, I want it so bad.
Yeah,
I want it so bad for content. I don't know why it's not there. I mean, you look at if any time an Arc Raiders thing pops up on my shorts feed or on
Yep.
TikTok or whatever, it's always something funny, some crazy moment with
Yep.
that proc chat's involved in. And I think when they added it to Tarkov, they've added it to PUBG. It was in DMZ and a lot of those stuff, and I think it's
Yep.
just something that has to be there because you have all these dynamic interactions and in extraction shooters, and it just adds a whole
Yep.
nother human interaction element to it where anything can happen. It has a whole nother dynamic, a whole nother layer to the storytelling of a raid. And you just have to have it, man. It's just
You
so
do.
funny, so great for content. And it's gonna be free and great advertising for them because there's inevitably gonna be some hilarious viral clips
Oh
that come from
yeah.
this, and it's gonna push their game around. So they're just, I mean, if I only have one downside to it, it's like, dude, hurry up because you're late.
Yeah.
Like you're late to the proc chat party.
Yep.
It needs to be in the game and it's going to be so fun. I'm looking forward to it. And I just don't think there's a downside to it. If it's something you're worried about, somebody saying something TOS on your stream, or if you just don't want to deal with that, there's obviously going to be a way to turn it off
Right.
and you don't have to mess with it. So I don't think there's a downside and it needs to happen ASAP.
100%.
I hope it doesn't fall into the category with ABI of like they said that a long time ago they were going to have like super crazy AI teammates that you could talk to
I remember
and would
that.
do
Yep.
what you said and stuff. And like, where did that go? So I
Yep.
hope this doesn't go um, in that path, and I hope it actually comes really soon. Maybe even in a mid-season patch with this next season coming up because this next season's sick. It's
Yeah.
so good.
Hell yeah.
That's going to be coming out in a couple weeks. So
Yeah. Do we have a release date for that?
you can kind of deduce. So at the time of recording this, we're recording on the 23rd. The quest and the battle pass and stuff have like a 16 or 17-day timer on them. So a little over 2 weeks.
Okay. So we're looking
Um,
early January then. Okay.
kind of
Gotcha.
based on that. Yep. After first year, we should be running the airport map in snowy Northridge.
Hell
A
yeah.
couple new guns.
Awesome. Fuck yeah.
So ready.
Oh man. All right. With that, guys, I think it's time for us to head back to the lobby. Another episode down, my man.
Yeah, we did it.
We
We
did
did
it.
it, man. Super fun.
Yeah.
Holidays were crazy, but I'm so glad we carved out a slice of time to talk with everybody, listening and watching around the world. And when you and I get to hang out, I love it, dude.
Fuck
And
yeah.
covering all this stuff is so fun.
Yeah.
And I'm thankful to be able to do it. And I just hope everyone has a Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
And I hope this year was good to everybody. And I hope next year's even better. We'll have a new year to look forward to. And a lot of stuff to talk
there's
about.
so much shit coming down the pipe. I'm so excited. Guys, if you're
Yes, sir.
watching this on YouTube, make sure you leave a like, leave a comment. Make sure you check out Crash. All of his socials are linked down below. You can see his little name under his camera there as well. BigfryTV everywhere. Make sure you guys search us up. And yeah, like Crash said, Merry fucking Christmas. I hope you guys have a great, holiday with your family. And like we said earlier, unplug for a little while, get off the internet, put the phone down, unless you're listening to this podcast and nothing else. Make
Correct.
sure that you digest all of our content. We're the only ones that matter. We're going to be there around the fire with your families, opening gifts with you. So yeah, check us all out. All of the socials are down below. And if you guys are listening to us on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, wherever, make sure you guys leave us a rating. We appreciate everybody, man. Our next episode, Crash, I know we got to go right away. We're going to be going out. Honestly, we're going to be going out into the new year as well. This is our last episode of the year.
Yeah.
So that's crazy. So not only have a great Christmas, make sure you guys stay safe and have a good New Year's. And man, 2026 is about to be fucking wild.
Yep.
I'm excited.
Godspeed, and we'll see you guys on the other side.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.